Hi, Portland. This is Willie Nelson. And thanks to you, continuous hit country KUPL is bringing us to Memorial Coliseum for our KUPL Listener Appreciation Concert, Monday night, March the 3rd.
Thanks to you for making Couple K98 FM Portland's #1 country station. Tickets on sale now at the Coliseum box office and G.I. Joe stores. Couple special price, only $9.85 plus service charge. The Couple Willie Nelson Concert.
From the folks at Couple, K98 FM and 1330 AM.
It's Joe Albertson's Supermarket, so I get quality, selection, and low prices all in one store.
This week at Albertsons, you'll find ground beef regular grind, a 10-pound package or larger, only 89 cents a pound. And look for Best Foods mayonnaise for $1.48. And donuts, mix or match, for only $1.99 any full dozen. Available at Portland stores only, not available in Vancouver. Blazers versus Seattle, Thursday on KOIN TV.
Portland's runaway houseboats need new moorages tonight.
Hello? Hi, Champ. Dave! I just want to tell you, Steve, playing golf with you is a real experience.
Hey, not everybody can make a shot like that.
Seriously, Steve. It's great getting
Whether
together.
you live out of town or just a few minutes away,
What, 30 minutes away?
remember,
We should stay in touch.
There's so much left to say.
Call me next week, and I'll let you know.
Know what?
Your score. It'll take me that long to add it up.
Don't drift away.
You'll find low prices on over 1,400 tools and accessories at your Fred Meyer Home Improvement and Garden Center. Whether you're working on a professional job or around the house, you can choose the tool that's exactly right. From names like Black & Decker, Makita, Stanley, and more. Cleanups are easier inside and out with this 6-gallon shop vac, now just $54.97. And this Euromate Black Enameled Entertainment Center is only $149.95 during this 2-week sale. Now at all Fred Meyer Home Improvement and Garden Centers.
Portland Filipinos celebrate their new president tonight. Suspect interviewed in Portland hit and run. Details tonight.
Good evening. It's 57 degrees in Portland, 64 forecast tomorrow.
Portland police tonight arrested a suspect in last night's hit and run killing of a woman and her 2 grandchildren.
On the Willamette River tonight, houseboat owners fearing looters are standing watch over their wandering homes. Now this.
Great classic rock. Great new rock. 92.3 KGON, the home of rock and roll.
An engineer who argued against the shuttle launch identifies those who approved it.
Marcos is going to Hawaii. We'll tell you about his decision to step down.
And Kid the Wonder Dog of Ben heads for Hollywood.
The story's at 11.
Vern, wake up, Vern. I know, you're laying there dreaming about all them new Tauruses and Aerostars and Rangers. But Vern, stop dreaming and head on down to your Northwest Ford dealer. Them boys are making deals that'll make your dreams come true. So come on, Vern, let's go. Vern, I like your little bear.
Still #1, your Northwest Ford dealers.
KOIN TV, Portland, Vancouver, the news station for Oregon and Southwest Washington, where people make the difference. Mike Donahue, Shirley Hancock, Bill Volker with weather, and Rick Metzger Sports. Newsroom 6 at 11.
Good evening. A twin-engine plane leased by Rajneeshpuram has crashed 10 miles east of the ranch, killing both people aboard. The Wasco County Sheriff's Office says the plane was flying from Portland to Rajneeshpuram when it went down about 7 tonight near Antelope. Dead are pilot Clifford Harris and passenger Rosalind Moses, longtime residents of Rancho Rajneesh.
A 24-hour watch is posted tonight along the Willamette River. On duty are the owners of some of those houseboats that broke free of their moorings and now lie along the river bank. Mark Katkoff reports the guards are watching for looters and rising water.
It is an unstable moorage. 22 houseboats tied in makeshift fashion to the banks of the Willamette. Inside, no electricity, no running water, just a determination to stay on board.
We're river rats, and we'll stick around for a while.
The houseboats broke loose about 7 a.m. Witnesses say the watery lane moorage underneath the Selwood Bridge simply gave way under pressure of the rain-swollen Willamette. At first, the houseboats drifted downstream in a group, but they broke apart near the Ross Island Bridge. Coast Guard, fire, and private boats joined in a scramble to get loose houseboats out of the Willamette's main stream. Still, some boats struck the city's bridges. Owners had tried to strengthen their moorage the night before.
We worked yesterday securing it with cables, and we figured if the river kept coming up today, we'd call the Coast Guard and warn them that we were about to go. And we woke up this morning as we were going under the Selwood Bridge.
We were moving very, very fast, about 20 miles an hour.
It will be perhaps 2 weeks before the boats can be towed. The Willamette's swift current makes such movement dangerous. Many of the houseboats remain empty, but some owners will not leave.
We're just going to stay here, keep an eye on the water and keep an eye on our property and other houseboats. Try to be sure that nobody gets down here to loot them or anything.
The charm of houseboat life may have worn off just a bit.
Normally, we just kind of watch the world pass by us. Now, today we pass by the rest of the world.
Mark Katkoff reporting for Newsroom 6.
Unlike the houseboat owners, residents of Lexington, Washington are in the water. 150 evacuated residents of the Ponderosa housing development returned to their homes today. Though the pumps are now working and the water receding, there is still water everywhere. Weary and disappointed, homeowners inspected waterlogged family treasures.
A picture of my mom and dad and my brother and I when we were young. It's the only one I have.
Dennis Jacobson collects antique instruments. Many of them are ruined. The pump system designed to protect this area was less than 5 years old when it failed last weekend. Flood victims say the county and the Dyking District are negligent in not having backup pumps readily available. They also say they were assured it was safe to cancel their homeowners' flood insurance.
Our recommendation here all along is that we insure county buildings for flood insurance, and we have encouraged everyone else to do that. I know of no one that has said that things were safe.
There is talk of a lawsuit. The local Dyking District may be liable, though the county commissioners act as supervisor of that district.
Filipino Americans celebrated throughout this country today. In San Francisco, a large crowd gathered in Union Square to cheer the new president of the Philippines. Crowds also formed before Philippine consulates in Seattle and Los Angeles, in the Philippine Embassy in Washington, D.C., at the United Nations, and in a Denver church, which hosted a special mass. Portland's small Filipino community celebrated in a Philippine restaurant, where they toasted Corazon Aquino tonight.
Our new president. Toast for a new president. Yes. All right.
Several people at the restaurant come from the home province of Aquino and her murdered husband, Benigno. Mrs. Aquino blames Marcos for her husband's assassination.
Corazon Aquino, now the Philippines' one and only president, tonight said, quote, "It's time to heal the wounds after a long agony." The source of that agony, Ferdinand Marcos, fled the palace early today in a helicopter, taking sanctuary on America's Clark Air Base. He and his party then flew in U.S. aircraft to the territory of Guam, arriving about 7:30 tonight Eastern Time. Security is strict at Anderson Air Force Base. Marcos reportedly looked frail as he walked off the plane. Also in his party is General Fabian Veer and 54 others. The White House has invited Marcos to stay in the U.S. Guam's governor says the former Philippine leader will leave tomorrow morning for Honolulu, where Marcos owns 2 homes. He has stayed here before with a view of Waikiki and Diamond Head, but today there were no signs of preparations. Back in Manila, the celebration continues as happy Filipinos cheer what they call their Liberation Day.
Finally free, and we can be truly proud of the unprecedented way we achieved our freedom.
The exuberance turned to rowdiness when the mob looted the palace. Pictures of the old regime were torn down and portraits of Aquino and Laurel went up. In the streets, there were prayers for unity as Filipinos waved and kissed their flags. What had been the barbed wire fences around the palace were fashioned into crowns of thorns.
President Marcos reportedly called his friend, U.S. Senator Paul Laxalt, at 3 a.m. last night, Manila time, saying he was afraid the palace would be stormed and adding that he did not want to come to the United States. He asked Laxalt if President Reagan would arrange a power-sharing government, a co-presidency with Mrs. Aquino. Reagan reportedly rejected that idea as undignified for Marcos. Laxalt said he then called back and advised Marcos to leave. After a long pause on the line, Laxalt asked if Marcos could hear him.
And he finally responded weakly and said, "Yes, Senator, I do hear you. I am so very, very disappointed."
Even Democrats are applauding Reagan for his handling of the crisis.
His leadership has been important, it has been significant, and it has been skillful, and deserves credit for it.
CBS News will present a comprehensive report on the changes in the Philippines immediately following this newscast. Should Marcos be allowed to live in the United States? That's the question we ask you in our KOIN return survey tonight. And here are the final results. Over 5,000 callers responded. 36% said Marcos should be granted asylum here. 64% said he should not. If you called in your opinion, we thank you. We feel this non-scientific survey gives you an idea how our other viewers feel about current issues.
A group of parents and concerned citizens are refusing to accept a decision to offer birth control counseling and prescriptions at Portland's Roosevelt High School. Tonight, they had hoped to meet with Roosevelt principal George Galati, but were told the meeting would be rescheduled. They say they wanted to express their concerns about the new program to the school's principal, but Galati says Multnomah County Commissioner Gretchen Kafori and School Superintendent Matthew Prophet want to speak directly to them. The group moved to the St. John's Community Center to plan a petition drive. They argue they haven't had the opportunity to express their views.
I went to that commissioners meeting and it was a farce. Right. I don't know how many of you were there, but I know some of you were there. It was a farce. It was a slap in the face of what we call democracy.
The group was also encouraged to contact their elected officials, including members of Multnomah County's Commission and Superintendent Prophet. Galati says a meeting with Prophet and Kafori will be held in March.
A southeast Portland man was arrested tonight in connection with a hit-and-run accident killing 3 people. Officer Henry Gripper says 24-year-old Stephen Paul Martin has been charged with 3 counts of felony hit-and-run, driving while suspended, and driving while uninsured. Pushing a shopping cart across Southeast Foster and 69th last night, Cecilia Fisher and her 2 grandchildren, Shamia and George McQuackey, were struck and killed by an oncoming car. Moments after it was launched from a B-52 bomber, a U.S. cruise missile crashed today into the Beaufort Sea. It was supposed to go 1,500 miles. The Air Force is not sure what went wrong. The missile reportedly fell like a brick onto the ice. It was the 8th cruise failure in 54 tests.
Engineer Alan McDonald says he can hardly believe NASA's top officials were not told of his objections to the launch of the Shuttle Challenger. McDonald, whose employer Morton Thikel makes the shuttle rocket booster, today told the Rogers Commission that he and other engineers had urged the launch delay until the temperature rose. Naming names, McDonald said NASA mid-managers would not wait.
I believe it was Mr. Malloy made some comments about when we'll ever fly if we have to live to that.
Thikel's expert on the O-ring, who had warned of a catastrophe leading to the death for the astronaut, said the engineers were unanimous against a launch the night before. When Thikel's managers defended their advice to NASA to go ahead with liftoff, Commission Chairman William Rogers said their arguments were not convincing. Astronaut Sally Ride and other expert commission members were appalled that NASA had apparently deviated from its longtime policy of safety first. Tomorrow, NASA's manager will be asked, why the rush?
Oregon State's hospital in Salem has been declared hazardous. Federal investigators say there are not enough nurses supervising the patients there, most of them mentally disturbed. Government Medicare funds totaling $330,000 a month will be cut off March 6th.
If in fact, and I say if in fact, the federal people felt that there was a hazardous condition here, the withdrawal of federal funds certainly doesn't help us correct that position.
Hospital officials say they will try to convince the government to give them more time before cutting off Medicare. If no solution is found within 6 months, fewer patients will be accepted.
The big story today, of course, has been the rising water, and river watchers will be very glad to hear little, if any, rainfall is forecast for tomorrow.
But above normal temperatures will continue that rapid snowmelt. Phil, what will be Portland's high temperature?
I'm looking for a temperature tomorrow right around 64 degrees, Michael. Certainly warmer than our 60 degrees today, but we'll also see some middle and high clouds with that, but it will be dry here in the Portland area tomorrow, and I'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay. Coming up, landslides and mudslides in Oregon and Idaho.
While in Hollywood tonight, Grammys were given to last year's best singers and musicians. We'll have highlights of the award ceremony coming up next.
This car commercial has no majestic mountains, quaint country roads, or shimmering sunsets. For a very good reason. To fully appreciate an Audi, all you need is to drive an Audi. The 4000S sedan, it's the only scenery a purist requires.
Come test drive the new 1986 Audis at your Audi Connection today.
1 in 6 alcoholics seeks medical care, because with treatment, they have a good chance of conquering the deadly disease they suffer from. But without that treatment, the other 5 can only look forward to something else. Call Care Unit. Nobody cares the way we do.
As you may have seen earlier, members of the music world came together tonight to honor their own, and coming away with most of the honors was the song, We Are the World. Grammy Awards were passed out to the best in the music industry. Chosen Song of the Year was the record that raised $30 million for famine relief in Africa. We Are the World was nominated in 6 categories and won 4 Grammys. It was also a big night for British singer Phil Collins. His album No Jacket Required captured 3 Grammys, including Best Album of the Year. It also earned Collins the Best Male Pop Vocalist Award. The Best Female Vocalist honor went to this lady, Whitney Houston. Dire Straits was given a Grammy for Best Rock Group Performance. Tina Turner earned a Grammy as Best Female Rock Vocalist, while Aretha Franklin captured that honor in the Rhythm and Blues category. The Commodores were named the Best Rhythm and Blues Group. And for those of you dying to know who got the Grammy for Best Polka Recording, it was Frank Yankovic.
I was wondering about that. Michael Ray Richardson is a name you may have heard of, and he got some bad news
We won't be hearing about him at least for a couple more years. The NBA today flexed its muscles and banned one of its members for life. 3 times, New Jersey Nets guard Michael Ray Richardson has been tested positive for drugs. Today, that 3rd strike sent him away from the plate.
As a result, under the collective bargaining agreement between the NBA and its Players Association, Michael Ray Richardson is permanently disqualified from playing basketball in the National Basketball Association.
A 4-time NBA All-Star, Richardson had been averaging almost 16 points a game this year. Now his career is just part of a scrapbook. The Blazers hope to snap a 10-game losing streak tomorrow night when they take on the Phoenix Suns. Who knows what's going to happen there, but I think the Blazers are going to come up with a win. Tonight in the NBA, the Birdman flew in and personally destroyed New York. Witness that pass to Bill Walton. Bird scored 24 points, pulled down 18 rebounds, and dished out 13 assists. His 5th triple-double in the last 8 games. The final, Boston 91, Knicks 74. Larry should wear a red cape with a big S on his shirt, the way this season has been going for him. In the NBA tonight, Sacramento defeated Seattle by a pair. It was Houston a loser to Utah. Denver, behind Alex English's 41 points, beat Phoenix tonight, 112-99. Milwaukee was an easy winner over the Clippers. Indiana by 13 over Washington. And Golden State defeated New Jersey tonight, the final 116-109. DePaul and Notre Dame met tonight on the college basketball floor, and it was a great defensive effort by the Irish that kept the Blue Demons in check. Like, how do you run an offense in a shower of confetti? It's a great intimidator, don't you think? But even when yesterday's news was cleared away, Notre Dame showed amazing stuff. It looked like a page out of the Harlem Globetrotters book on this play, and they made it count for 2. Notre Dame went on to win it. The final was 70-59. In the top 10 released today by the Associated Press, Duke is the new number 1, followed by Kansas, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, and Kentucky. Syracuse heads up the next 5, followed by Memphis State, St. John's, Nevada, Las Vegas, and Michigan. A share of second place in the Three Rivers League was at stake tonight at Lake Ridge High School, and the Pacers did not send the hometown fans home disappointed. They beat Putnam to move alongside the Kingsmen in the standings. Jim Byrne was there.
David Todd was a one-man cannon for Lake Ridge. The senior forward hit from everywhere. In fact, in the first quarter, he let loose with a string of 5 straight field goals. It was a big enough string to tie up Rex Putnam. Darren Moreland does start a brief Kingsman rally. He cruises to eventually help bring his team to within 6 points of the Pacers in the second quarter. But with 4 minutes to go, Paul Cooper starts to make some of those outstanding shots Todd was making earlier. And the Pacers have an 8-point lead near half. 60-46, Lake Ridge beats Rex Putnam. That puts the Kingsmen and Pacers in a tie for second in the league. Clackamas beat Lake Oswego 62-34 to hold on to first place in the Three Rivers. In Lake Oswego, Jim Byrne, Newsroom 6 Sports.
Elsewhere in the prep ranks, 99 was a great number for PIL Powers Grant and Benson as they both won. The Dows defeated Columbia 17-14. They were doing their stitching watching that one. Oregon City defeated Milwaukee, the final 84-76. Reynolds a winner over Gresham. Sandy edged Barlow by a pair. Jefferson defeated Lincoln. Wilson by 12 over Marshall. Aloha upset Hillsboro. Glencoe likewise over Beaverton. Central Catholic in the Battle of the Parochial Schools defeated Jesuit. Tillamook was a winner over Astoria. Rainier 59, Seaside 56, and Hood River tonight defeated Yamhill-CARLTON. The final was 55-41. Saying it's time to look for new challenges, Roy Love today resigned as athletic director at Portland State, effective September 1st.
the change was mainly, as far as I'm concerned, to kind of rejuvenate the program with some new thoughts and some new ideas and new developments, and to rejuvenate myself. In 14 years is a long time to do anything.
Finally, a great day on the slopes of Norway for Rok Petrovic. The native of Yugoslavia zipped down the course, edging Sweden's Ingemar Stenmark for the World Cup slalom victory, his 4th win of the season in that event. It clinches at least a tie for the season title for Petrovic. He's probably celebrating tonight with a little cheese and Slivovitz. Tiger Shaw of Vermont was the top U.S. finisher, coming in 24th.
Skier named Rock. It just doesn't seem right, does it?
Thanks, Rick. Emergency crews say it will be 4 days before they can repair Oregon Highway 22. That's along Detroit Lake. Tonight, there's a 150-foot gap in the road. That's a section that slid into the lake early this morning. The slide has cut residents of Idana and Marion Forks off from the nearest city, Salem. Officials blame this slide on heavy rains and melting snow.
Slides also are closing roads in Idaho. Mudslides covered at least 3 highways in southern Idaho. Rain is no longer the problem there. The melting snow is. Warm temperatures released a heavy runoff rushing down the mountains, causing mudslides and some flooding. Tonight, authorities say that flooding is under control and swollen rivers are receding. Boise County was declared a disaster area because of these massive mudslides. Authorities say the snow cap is high enough, what's left of it, to avoid melting, and the rain is letting up tonight. That's the same forecast for our area. Phil Volker says we have a fairly nice day coming tomorrow. We'll see.
Well, we've had slides, floods, runaway houseboats. What's next, Phil?
I can't forecast the houseboats, but I can forecast the weather tomorrow. It looks very nice coming up. We're starting to dry out now, and we'll at least see a bit of a break coming up tomorrow. But more rain due on Thursday. The front, which moved through the area earlier today, has now moved south of the Portland metro area, and rainfall has tapered off accordingly. We haven't had any rain here in Portland, but 1/100 of an inch down in the Eugene area, and also 1/100 at Redmond, and along the coast a little bit of drizzle there with 3/100 of an inch. Our morning low temperatures primarily in the 40s and 50s. We dropped to 51 degrees here in Portland, 55 at Salem, 49 degrees at Eugene, east side, a couple of the cooler spots, 39 at Burns and also over in Baker, but in contrast to that, 52 degrees to Walla Walla. Tonight's temperatures primarily in the 40s and 50s again, with a few spots in the upper 30s east side. High temperatures today, not as warm as yesterday, but 60 degrees here in Portland, 58 degrees at Salem, 57 Eugene, 60 over at Redmond, and 63 today at Walla Walla, and that was topped by the 67 at Yakima. Tomorrow's temperatures should be about the same, if not a few degrees warmer. In fact, with a little sunshine, we should see 64 or 65 here in the Portland area. Tonight, the front, again, which moved through the area now south of us, so the rain has tapered off. Just a few scattered clouds. In fact, we are seeing some clearing as well, and that is giving us some areas of fog, so we'll have to watch out for that tomorrow morning. Otherwise, tomorrow we should see a break. This next storm, though, will likely move our way tomorrow night with increasing clouds and probably some rain due on Thursday. Here's the upper air picture right out of the southwest, and that will continue to bring some high-level moisture to the area tomorrow, and then eventually bring that front to the region on Thursday. Tonight's satellite picture shows a few scattered clouds over the northwest. We will see some of this higher-level moisture tomorrow, so we may see partly to mostly cloudy skies off and on, but for the most part, it should be a dry day. Then we'll see the front and the associated low moving our way again on Thursday for a return to the rain. But by the weekend, higher pressure should build again, and that means some very nice weekend weather around the corner. Here's a look at the national weather picture tonight. It's still very hot down in the desert southwest, fairly mild over the Rockies, and they'll probably see some flooding with that as much warmer air starts to melt that low-level snow. A little bit icy over the Great Lakes states and also in New England, but otherwise temperatures today not too bad. Very cool all the way from the southeast Atlantic coast through the Great Lakes and on up into the interior of Canada. But look at these temperatures. 96 at Indio, California, 90 in Phoenix, a record high 85 in Las Vegas, also 85 in Los Angeles, and 70 degrees today, a record high in Boise. Here's a look at our current weather. Call it partly cloudy with areas of fog. Winds east at 3, barometer 30.32, and steady. Humidity at 100%. Temperatures 51 at the airport, 53 downtown. Forecast now for eastern Oregon, partly cloudy skies, but it will stay mild. For the Cascades, partly cloudy except for a few showers, mainly south. For the Gorge, also partly cloudy tonight through tomorrow, low of 46, high tomorrow 60. For the coast, mostly cloudy with local drizzle, but we should see some partial clearing by tomorrow afternoon. Fairly mild, though, 62 the high. For southwest Washington, partly cloudy, high of 60. For the Valley, mostly cloudy, high of 62 tomorrow, and low of 50. And for the Portland area, I'll be a little bit pessimistic here. Mostly cloudy skies with some partial clearing in the afternoon. 64 the high tomorrow, 48 the low tonight, and I think the only problem we'll have to see tomorrow, or worry about tomorrow morning, will be the areas of fog. But tomorrow should be a dry day, and for that matter, a nice one.
River's going down.
And they should start to recede. Now, the low-level snow is pretty well gone now, so no problems.
You've heard of stage mothers. Well, when we return, you're going to meet a stage father.
He is grooming his kid to become a Hollywood star. We'll meet him and his best friend when Newsroom 6 continues.
Walmart members, shop your 8-page insert now for spectacular store-wide savings on items you use every day, like your favorite Coca-Cola products. Choose from Coke, Cherry Coke, Tab, caffeine-free Diet Coke, or Sprite. Get the 8-pack of 16-ounce bottles only $1.79. And Fabergé Organic Shampoo or Conditioner in the 15-ounce size. Bi-Mart sale priced at just 89 cents each. Or get the Dial Soap 4-bar pack of 5-ounce bars, now Bi-Mart sale priced at $1.99. Hurry, this sale ends Sunday at Bi-Mart.
Buy more for your money at Bi-Mart.
Remember this face. It belongs to Kid, the Wonder Dog, and you may see it one day on the silver screen. Ray Summers has his story.
Dogs like to play in parks, run, and carry sticks. Kid does that. Kid also goes for walks with his master, Scott Pickett. Carries his own leash. Helpful dog, Kid. It's only natural when he finds litter, Kid picks it up. Puts it in the trash barrel. And when the trash barrel is full, Kid will stomp it down. Kid can do a lot of things.
Come on, Hollywood, we're going, yeah.
That's why Kid can do a lot of things, like climbing a ladder.
Go.
And barking on command. And keeping an eye on traffic.
Come on.
Scott Pickett and Kid are sure they're going to hit it big in Hollywood.
Shut the door.
They're getting ready by doing lots of menial things.
All the way. All the way. Good kid. Lay your head. Lay your head. Lay it. Good kid.
Ooh. Look out, Hollywood. Here they come. Ray Summers at large, Bend.
Well, that's our report for now. Coming up next, that report from CBS News we promised about the situation in the Philippines.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.
If you're an employer not understanding the new unemployment insurance tax law, could be expensive. Beginning next year, the amount of your tax will depend on how much your former employees draw unemployment insurance benefits. And if you have any taxes or penalties not paid each year by September 30th, you'll be assigned the highest tax rate of 5.4%. For this free booklet explaining the new law, visit your Employment Security Tax office or call this toll-free number, 1-800-367-3634. That's 1-800-367-3634.
Sometimes I'm asked what I think sets Newsroom 6 apart from other stations. After all, news is news, right? Well, I don't think so. Newsroom 6 has the only permanent news bureaus in Salem and Vancouver. We can bring you breaking news live and in-depth stories from those areas. Eric Mason and Eric Olson know their territories. They live there. I think they give Newsroom 6 an edge in covering all the region's news.
Shirley Hancock and Newsroom 6. News you will use from people you know.
Join me weekdays at 3:30 on KOIN TV.